Mock Draft Monday. Welcome back to the Birdhouse Dynasty Show. We got some free agent signings. Sam Darnold to the Seahawks, Justin Fields to the Jets. Just recently tonight, we had Javonte Williams signing with the Cowboys, as well as another running back, Najee Harris, signing a one-year deal with the LA Chargers. And so, how will these signings play into the mock draft we run tonight, or mock drafts, depending on how many we get in here? We will see. But yes, some very interesting signings. We had the DK Metcalf trade yesterday to Pittsburgh. We also had Devontae Adams signing with the Rams. So this free agency period has started off with a bang, and we're only in the tampering phase. So the real free agents, it starts on Wednesday. But yeah, great day for my Buccaneers. Chris Godwin's coming back. They also signed Hassan Reddick, third down pass rush specialist. So should be very happy about that for the Bucs. You can now look past them drafting a wide receiver in the first round. You can probably eliminate Pittsburgh from drafting a wide receiver in the first round. Other landing spots, I don't know that the Chargers now will be looking running back in the first round, having signed Najee Harris to a one-year deal. Usually that's the type of deal where, $9 million, they're going to give him the rock a bunch. I doubt they're going to be spending a first-round pick on a running back now. You still could look at Denver as a spot to grab a running back. The Cowboys, now that they grabbed Javonte Williams, I don't know that necessarily eliminates them from taking a running back in the first, but it's less likely now, put it that way. And Jerry has definitely not gone back on his word. He did mention last offseason that the running back position was a spot that he wanted to stay cheap on the labor. And that's definitely what he did with Javonte Williams' deal. So, yeah, the running back landing spots are sort of clearing up now. There's still a few guys out there, J.K. Dobbins, Rico Dowdle, probably missing a couple, but point being, those guys could sign somewhere, and then those teams could then look to grab a running back later in the draft. This draft is loaded at running back. You can look to see good running backs going as late as the 5th and 6th rounds that would normally go in the 3rd or 4th rounds of regular normal years, especially last year, which only had Jonathan Brooks go in the 2nd round, a couple 3rd rounders in Trey Benson and Blake Corum. But hell, you could even see those two teams, even the Panthers, grabbing a running back in this talent-rich running back class. So anyway, let's get on to the mock draft. We've got, let's bring up our sleep board here. There we go. And so what we're going to do tonight, since I don't have someone in here, I know I got this started a little late tonight. I'm going to run through with my new Dynasty rookie rankings for 2025, just updated. I'm going to use that, not to a T, but pretty similar to those rankings. I'm going to use those for a mock draft. And so let me get this. I'll claim the first spot. Start the draft now. And we'll pause it. There we go. And now I can, let's see here. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go through and do a draft based off of my rankings and where I think some guys may or may not land, but I'm not going to use landing spots. I'm really just going to go by talent here. So if, yeah, Alan is in the house. Good to have you, Alan. Do you know when Tet's Pro Day is? I do not, but I could check that out quick. Arizona's Pro Day. So the Big 12 is hosting a joint Pro Day. And so that's where Tet will be. That is going to be in Frisco, Texas, March 18th to the 21st. So we're about a week away. That would be next week, Tuesday through Friday. So that's when it will be. Alan, good question. We all want to see some of, yes, so it's multiple days, correct? Because they have, just like the NFL Combine, they have a lot of positions. It's not like they're just going there to see the skill players, right? The linemen, the defensive players, everybody there. Yes. They will all be participating in that. And so that'll be a month ahead of the real NFL draft, which of course is in Green Bay, April 26th. And all looking forward to that. Most definitely. All right, so let's get this mock rolling here. Alan, did you want to participate? I can get you the link is right above there. If you want to get on in this, I can end this draft. And all right, okay, no problem, Alan. But thanks for stopping in tonight. I appreciate you with those because it was a good question. Yes, there are a few other. I don't have the exact. Thanks for leaving it running. That's awesome of you. And you can always watch it again tomorrow to get the full lowdown of this mock draft here. But anyway, I'm going to run through this. I see we've got another guy in the house here. Who's here? You can click on the link. I don't know now though. I started this draft. Whoever else is in here, did you want to join right now? Just let me know. I will give you a minute here to decide. I don't want to get this started and then we're just going to have you wait. Unless you just want to see how I go through with my picks. That's totally fine as well. Don't mind doing that. But yeah, some interesting movement from the NFL Combine. We had still the top 5 running backs, I think, held their own. Caleb Johnson seems to have moved down to the bottom of those 5 tiers in the public's perception because of his slower 40 time. But again, I'll argue all day that Caleb isn't slow. I mean, he had 8 runs over 20 miles an hour, which was the most in the nation. Ashton Genty only had 5. So he's got plenty of speed. It's just kind of, I mean, the way that Caleb Johnson runs, he's very patient, hits the hole, and then he picks up speed and goes. So he doesn't quite have the burst that maybe some of the other guys have, but once he decides to get going, he can get going. And so I'm not going to drop him out of the top tier. I don't think anybody else is either. I'm just saying they've moved him down to the bottom of that. So late first is probably where you're going to be able to get Caleb Johnson now. But running back 6 through 15, they've sort of, they're beginning to separate each other a little bit, but I still look at, from round 2, like pick 202 and 12 teamer all the way through like into the 3rd round is like a big mega tier. And so I am I'm going to show you right now. So here we go. Let's get rolling. I'll go pick one. I'm still sticking with Asha Genti. Genti could land with the Raiders. He could still land with the Cowboys. I mean, they did just sign Javonte Williams, who definitely didn't look that great last year. But that could have been the Denver O-line blocking. I don't know. I'm not really holding my breath on Genti being picked by the Cowboys. I'll just say that. But I still think he's the top player. And so we'll go from there. Pick 2 now is interesting. I would have it narrowed down to 3 players. The top 3 guys that are on the board right now. Now with Najee Harris going, that's probably one less spot for Amarian Hampton to go in the first round. So I'm still going to pick Amarian Hampton here, because I just think he's legit there. Now at 3, it's very close, but I'm going to go Cam Ward. I'm assuming he's going to go number 1 overall, and then we're going Ted McMillan as the top wideout. Now it gets interesting. I like Quinshon Judkins. I've liked him the whole draft off season, and he stepped it up at the combine, legitimized his spot. I think that his teammate Travion Henderson is right behind him, and I'm going to grab him there. Then it gets a little interesting whether you want to go tight end or wide receiver. For this exercise, I'm going to go Tyler Warren, just because I'm getting over the fact that so many mocks have him going to the Colts. All right. Brock Bowers went to the Raiders last year, and everybody hated it and talked him down, and that got him picked. In some leagues I got him. I know the main league that I got him in, he went at pick 8, and I was ecstatic to get that. There was one league where he fell to like pick 10, and it was insane value for Brock Bowers there. So I'm not going to let that happen to Tyler Warren. I'm not saying he is Brock Bowers, but I do think that he he's going to enter the league and be a top 5 tight end in Dynasty right away. Colston Loveland can also be that high. Now here we're looking at Luther Burden, Shadir Sanders, Egbuka, or Caleb Johnson. And I love Caleb Johnson, but it is super flex, and I don't hate Shadur enough to drop him out. So I'm going to go Shadur Sanders at 8. Now, pick 9 is where it really gets interesting between Caleb and the wide receivers. I'm going to go Caleb Johnson, and then look at the 2 wide receivers, Burden and Egbuka. I think that last week when I did this exercise, I was a little high on Jackson Dart. Now that the combine is backing off, Dart's going to get picked, but I still love the guy and his performance. Now, there you go. That would be the first. You'd have Genti in the first tier. Then in the second mega tier, I'd call it, you'd have these next 12 players that went just now. So those would be the 12 guys I'd have in the second mega tier. I think that you could put a cutoff here probably around somewhere around the Tyler Warren and Shadir Sanders picks. I think that personally, the first 6 picks should be the guys that I picked right there as of now. Now, Shadir Sanders, if Cam Ward goes 1 and Shadir Sanders goes 2 overall in the NFL draft, I could consider moving Shadir up, just because of that kind of landing spot is showing legitimacy and confidence right out of the gate. That would be the Cleveland Browns, number 2. The Browns did trade for Kenny Pickett today. They flipped backups with the Eagles. A more suiting backup to Jalen Hurts is what the Eagles acquired. That's DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And Kenny Pickett went to the Browns. So Pickett is the kind of guy who could definitely be a bridge quarterback. But if they drafted Shedeur, I think Shedeur is ready to go right out of the gate. Again, that doesn't mean I want to move him up into the top 15 yet of quarterbacks in Dynasty, but I think that's about where he could go. But then you've got, like the Jets who signed Justin Fields today. We're looking at Pittsburgh at 21. Well, they're looking more and more like you could go. It's they go Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. If they go Russell Wilson, actually, if they go either of them, I could see them definitely taking Jackson Dart at pick 21 if he's still there. Now, with Jackson Dart's fluctuating value and he's becoming so polarizing now, he could literally go, dude, if Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders go 1-2, Jackson Dart could get picked in the top 10. But if Shedeur falls, and let's say Cam Ward doesn't go till pick 3 or 4, well, he's not going to go 4th to the Patriots, but he could go pick 3 to the Giants if they just stand pat. Point being, Cam Ward goes later than pick 1, and then Shedeur falls, Jackson Dart could fall. So I could definitely see that, as this quarterback class is definitely nowhere near as strong as last year's class. Okay, so now that we're into the second tier, this is where it gets real interesting. And so this is where you could consider Travis Hunter or Jalen Milroe. I am going to go with Matthew Golden, who stepped it up in the combine, not just his 40 time, but all around he did well. And right after him, I'm going to go Trey Harris. Okay. And then this is a guy, Jalen Milroe, who I had higher early in the year. I moved him down a little, but now I'm back up on the swing of Jalen Milroe, getting him in the second round. Then this is about where I'd consider Travis Hunter, but let me think here. Let me look at my rankings. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so this is right around where I want to grab the absolute combine smash warrior. That's Jalen Noel. Jalen Noel, this is about where he needs to go. The dude can play inside and outside. He is smaller, but he's kind of like an Amon-Ra St. Brown type. He could be a target hog for an NFL offense. So he's really growing on me. I'll just put it that way. Then we're looking, I want to grab a running back here. I think I'm going to go Cam Scatabo first. And then I like Ollie Gordon. Yeah. Let me see here. I'm going to go with Dylan Sampson first. I think that Dylan Sampson and his speed will be an asset to a backfield. And then I'll go Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon is going to be more of a hammer. Somewhere like I could see Pittsburgh taking him. They just let Najee walk in free agency, didn't go after him. And so I think Ollie Gordon is a good fit there. There's also a couple other backs coming up that I'll take soon. Devin Neal, as well as Damian Martinez from Miami. Those are two backs that are just set perfect as first and second down grinders. Okay. But I think that Dylan Sampson has a special speed that you can't teach. All right. And so I'll go that route. Now, wide receiver, I'm going to go Alec Ayamaner. He's not one of my personal favorites, but I just know the public really likes him, and so that's where I'm going to stand. Sometimes, I mean, you just got to go with what the public is liking, because these are dudes that you're going to have on your roster from May, June, July, August. You're going to have them for 3 months before they're actually going to play for you. You may want to trade them. Okay, you may want to put them in a deal to upgrade a starting position or something. So you want to still grab the value that's sitting there. And if the public is valuing somebody higher than maybe you think they are, you still need to grab the value or trade back. All right. So who else did I have in that tier there? Yes. Okay. So here's a pick that I'm going to make that sleeper is still too low on, and that is Rocket Sanders out of South Carolina. He had a great combine. This dude was considered the top running back in this class through his freshman year, and just had a rough sophomore season, ended up transferring. And so I didn't forget about him, and I don't think the NFL did either. So I could see him still going on day 2. Wouldn't shock me. He's a guy that can actually, he's got a 3-down skill set. So I like him a lot. Now, here's where I don't mind taking Travis Hunter. Still don't know if he'll play wide receiver, how much wide receiver he'll play. But there's Devin Neal, the best of the first and second down grinders. After that, I'm going to go with Damian Martinez. Both of these dudes, Devin Neal I compare to David Montgomery. Damon Martinez more like Brian Robinson. So I think both of them definitely have NFL game, and they're going to get plenty of looks. So again, Pittsburgh I see as a great opportunity. I don't think Pittsburgh is going to go out and shell out some money for, J.K. Dobbins now that they let Najee walk. Okay, especially after they paid DK all that money, and we'll see how much they have to pay their quarterback. And that'll be in the next couple days. We'll see. We're waiting on that to happen. Let me think here now. Go down to the next tier. My guys. Okay. So don't want to forget my favorite guy from the combine, and that's Bashul Tootin. He's moved up on a lot of people's boards. I've seen him go as high as like pick 204. I don't want to reach too high on him because, like, I had him ranked in the, third round already because I knew he was fast. I don't want to double count that speed. Now, not only was he fast, but he showed great agility. He was a superb athlete. And so that's why I'm moving him up, because he was a far superior athlete than I had accounted for. Okay. But even here, he's still going at the 302. Like, don't reach too high on the dude. Because he's still in that running back 6 to 15 range. Okay. Let's see here. Now, we've got a group of tight ends that we don't want to let fall too far either. But I'm going to take RJ Harvey out of Central Florida. He's got a great skill set. And then we're going to go DJ Giddens. He had a great combine as well. And so, look, we've got 5 straight running backs. So that's kind of how I'm clumping those 5 running backs right in that tier. If you want to put Tootin on top, that's fine with me. I don't mind it at all. But next up, we're going to go with these tight ends. I still like Harold Fannin the best. But right after him, I think Mason Taylor will probably get a little higher draft capital than Arroyo. But pick your poison, honestly. Any of these 3 dudes are going to be playing a good amount on Sunday. And they're all very similar, athletic. Taylor and Arroyo are a little bigger. But I think Fannin is going to be more. Fannin reminds me of Isaiah Likely very much. And so if he gets the right spot, it all depends on the spot for these guys. For tight ends, it's really tough to gauge. We've seen a lot of late round tight ends pop, like George Kittle in the 5th round. So who knows which one of these tight ends is going to be able to pop, or which couple of these tight ends will pop. Let me think here. Which guys? So, yes. All right, one more first and second down grinder that I like, and that's Jordan James. And then right after him, I want to go Brashard Smith, that had a great combine as well. So, I mean, the last mock I did with Matt English, he took him at the 212, Brashard Smith. Of course, he was high on him heading into the combine, so I can understand his enthusiasm. He definitely had a great combine showing up his athleticism. Okay. Next up, let me see here. Just looking down at my rankings, I'm going to go with a wide receiver that I really like, sort of under the radar because he played at Utah State. But this dude is truly like Amon-Ra or Steve Smith from guys I've talked to who saw him play in college. And so he's got that dog in him. And Jalen Royals is somebody you do not want to pass up in the 3rd round, late 3rd round especially. And let's see here. Okay. So now we're getting to the territory where we've already had Jalen Milroe go. Now, to talk about the free agents that is signed, Sam Darnold's probably a late 1st, early 2nd value now. If I own Darnold, I would try to push for a 1st as much as possible, maybe tack on something to be able to get a 1st from someone. He's a starting quarterback now, locked in for 3 years. Like, the dude's really got to mess it up to lose his job. He got the exact same deal that the Bucs gave Baker Mayfield. Okay, so that's the kind of confidence that Seattle has in him. They don't want to have to turn to Sam Howell. Okay, so between him and now Justin Fields getting a 2-year deal with the Jets, that shows a little bit of confidence. I mean, it's $20 million a year. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's definitely more than what they'd be paying a rookie quarterback. Okay, so when you take that into consideration, where would you? I mean, do you want Jackson Dart or do you want either of those 2 quarterbacks? I mean, those 2 guys are going to be scoring for you right away. Jackson Dart isn't necessarily going to score points right away. It all depends on where he lands. And so now we get into this range of backup quarterbacks in the late 3rd. And so I just don't like Quinn Ewers, but I think he's going to have the best landing spot. He could go early 2nd. Somebody like the Browns, who just brought in Kenny Pickett. I mean, Quinn Ewers could be the guy. And then after those guys, I see Will Howard as the most pro-ready. I'd say he's got the savvy, I guess, a little bit of running ability. Kyle McCord, I really like. He's got that gunslinger in him. He's a complete, true backup, every sense of the word of a true NFL backup quarterback. Reminds me of Nick Mullins. And we're in the 4th now. I'm going to go Isaiah Bond. And then let's see here. We've got, I don't want to forget anybody here. So, oh yeah. I don't want to pass on Dylan Gabriel. He can play at the NFL level. He's shorter, so it's tougher to see whether he, what kind of, it'll be interesting to see what team drafts him, put it that way. Okay. Next up, let's see here. I do want to see if they uploaded him into the system now. There he is, Tyler Shook. It's pronounced Shook. From Louisville. had a pretty solid combine throwing the ball, athletic dude. And so he's been moving up. He could go in the 4th, 5th, 6th round and be somebody's backup. All right. Now it's really just pick your poison. I like Terrence Ferguson had a good combine. Xavier Restrepo is one of my favorites. And then there's a few running backs still that I don't want to forget about. Let me see here. I'm just looking at my list on my Patreon. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. It's just $3 a month. You get my rookie rankings. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please, that helps out the Birdhouse community, helps us pump out more videos, just gives us a better, I mean, honestly, I'll be straight with you. It helps the algorithm, and that's what really keeps us going. It gets more eyes on our shorts, on our videos that we put out, and that's what helps the community out the best. So I'd love to have you join the Patreon. That would be great. But there you'd get my rookie rankings. You'd also get to have a free roster review right now. And also, we're at 95 subscribers right now. Whoever gets the 100th subscriber, I will do a free roster review for as well. So make sure if you're sitting at 99 and you hit the next subscribe that you let me know, because I'm going to track you down. All right. We're going to fill this out with running backs because honestly, that's who I'd be taking in my draft. This running back class is just awesome. Jaden Higgins, forgot about him. He should have definitely been taken probably a round earlier. He's a taller wide receiver out of Iowa State. Played with Jalen Noel. They were a great tandem there. But Higgins did well at the combine as well. I should have never let him go this far, honestly. I waited at least a round too long. Then you've got the 2 Michigan running backs here. They're pretty similar, Donovan Edwards and Khalil Mullins. You could ask Hergot about those two. He watched them. He's a big blue fan there. Jack Beach, won't forget about him. One of Matt English's favorites. And then we'll finish this bad boy off with, you want to go Jarquez Hunter out of Auburn? Nah, I'm going to go with one of my guys, Marcus Yarns out of Delaware, a big blue hen there. All right, so there is my mock draft. As you can see, we had 5 running backs go in the top 9 picks. Quarterbacks went Ward, Shedeur, and Jackson Dart in the first round. Jalen Milroe went in between that tier of quarterbacks and the backup quarterbacks, basically. I see Milroe as a dude who could get taken in the 2nd, but maybe the 3rd. But either way, he's a guy that could very well get good opportunity in his first year in the NFL to sort of have what Jalen Hurts had as a rookie, where he sat for a while and then got his opportunity the last month of the year, and we all know he never looked back. Milroe isn't quite the polished passer, not that Hurts was either, but Hurts is a little better of a thrower than Milroe is right now, so he's got time to work on it, but the wheels are there, and as long as your quarterback can run, look at Justin Fields. He's still getting an opportunity, which is great for us in fantasy because you get the points in fantasy by running the ball for sure at quarterback. So there we have it. We have the 2 tight ends go early, Warren and then Loveland. They fit into the top mega tier, like I said. And then he had that little run of 3 guys here. Ferguson, I could see even moving his way up into the mix with Fannin, Taylor, or into Arroyo. They're all worthy of day 2 picks in the NFL draft. But what's really going to be interesting to see is how these running backs here in rounds 2 and 3 shuffle themselves out. You got Scattaboo, Sampson, Gordon, Rocket Sanders, Devin Neal, Martinez, Tootin, Harvey, and Giddens. That's 9. And then 10 and 11 in Jordan James and Brashard Smith. So those are 11 backs after the first 5, so that's like running backs 6 through 17, guys. That's important. Running backs 6 through 17, you're going to be able to scoop up the bottom end of that tier of players in your 3rd, maybe even into the 4th round of your rookie drafts. And those guys, I'm telling you, all of those guys could be very good at the NFL level. There's teams out there that need the running backs. As you can see, they're being cautious with their pickups with these veteran free agents. They're not paying much. Javonte Williams did not get much. Minnesota, yeah, they gave 2 years, $20 million to Aaron Jones, but they still need another guy. Aaron Jones isn't a 25-touch player, okay? They're going to be drafting someone. So just keep in mind, pretty much every team is going to take a running back in this draft. It's just up to them when they want to grab them, because there's not going to be a running back class like this for a while. Okay, we had to wait from 2017 till now 2025, so that's 8 years we had to wait for a class like this again. And these guys are going to last a while in the league, so don't be afraid to grab them so that you have some gems there. Whether you hang on to these guys for 4 or 5 years, or you end up trading them soon, their value is going to hold pretty well. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the running back position, especially with regards to how free agency is shaping out right now. We have the Najee Harris signing to the Chargers again, as well as Javonte Williams to the Cowboys. Aaron Jones signed a couple days ago, back up with the Vikings. And so those are a couple of teams that have one body, but don't be surprised when they grab another one in this draft. Just don't expect them to take any first-round running back anymore. All right? So don't be afraid to leave your questions down in the comments. Let me know what you think of my picks. Which ones were terrible? What am I thinking? Birdman, you're an idiot. Or give me praise if you want. It's all good. This is just fun to do and to enjoy it with you guys. I appreciate you joining tonight. And remember, hit the like and subscribe. Join the Patreon. And never stop working.